I tend towards a classic style with quality fabrics, etc., as I've always been interested in clothes and dressmaking. Sometimes I throw in a bit of drama or creativity. The problem is my friendship group favours very relaxed, casual dressing styles, and so I often feel slightly overdressed at catch-ups. Am I destined to spend my life in jeans and t-shirts, leaving my nicer things in the wardrobe? Nobody else wears blazers, though I love them. I'm semi-retired and work still gives me a chance to dress more formally, but I have noticed even there, post-COVID, people in the workplace are dressing very informally. I feel out of step. Now, Alison, this is, not uncommon, and sometimes it can be that there are other people in your friendship group who would like to dress up more too, but they feel they can't because nobody else is. So sometimes you have to be the person who does it and keeps doing it. And what happens is other people who also like to dress like that start to up-level their dressing as well. So you're not the only one and you're not out of step. But often it takes that brave first person to be the person who does that. I have noticed, because I too prefer to be overdressed rather than underdressed. I prefer to dress more formally, and I have noticed in workplaces where I've worked that I would come in dressing more formally than other people, and then over time other people started to dress more like me. I also noticed that in my mother's group when my kids were young, that everybody was dressing in like sneakers and tracksuits, activewear, those sorts of things. And I would feel very frumpy and not right in those things. And so I started dressing more formally. And it didn't take that long, but it was interesting how I watched other their outfits started changing as well. So don't assume that everybody wants to dress really, really casually. You might actually find that there are other people like you who would enjoy getting a little bit more dressed up, but they fear they can't because they don't want to feel out of step either. So you can be the leader and you can try to do that, and you can just keep doing it and see what happens. Over time, you might find you're not the only one. Now, there are people who really love dressing down, and there's an awful lot of people who like that. But it can also be that even in your casual clothes, they don't have to be sloppy and loose and all those sorts of things. You can choose to wear a pair of jeans with a collared shirt rather than a pair of jeans with a t-shirt. Or even if it's a t-shirt, it's a well-constructed, well-fitting t-shirt. Maybe it has some interest, maybe it has unusual construction, because if you so too, you have the choice to add these things to your clothes. But think about that it could be more interestingly constructed than just like a very, very plain t-shirt. There are elevated versions of t-shirts and jeans, and there are more relaxed versions. So it could be the difference between wearing a pair of sneakers with your jeans and wearing a ballet flat with your jeans, or a loafer, or a cute boot or something in winter. So thinking about how can I elevate my look but still fit in with the overall dressing style. Now, I personally love a blazer too, but there's a big difference between a kind of grey wool corporate sort of blazer and something like this, which is a bright colour, which is still a blazer, but it's a bit more fun, or even something with a pattern or something or a blazer made from a knit fabric, so it's a little bit more relaxed. But there are a lot of different versions. And so this is where sometimes it could be moving away from the really corporate classic to something a little bit more different. That will mean that you still fit in because you don't look like you're about to go to the office, but you are being you. And I think too, one of the things I notice, and one of the things that I read my 7 Steps to Style members often comment on, is that when they start dressing better, they get more compliments. But other people really start noticing and, will often want to emulate them. And so sometimes being the best dressed person in the room gives something else for other people to aspire to. So, why not be that person and dress in a way that makes you happy? And add those details and add those kind of styles and elements of design that you really enjoy, because it's like giving other people a permission slip to be themselves as well. Because too, we can have very much habituated. And when we start stepping out of what has become a habit, and that COVID era of dressing down so much really kind of became a big habit, and our brains have to get out of that. So we have to start thinking differently, and it can feel uncomfortable for a period of time, but that usually doesn't last forever. So my recommendation is always to, you just want to add maybe up-level one element. It could even just be wearing a necklace or wearing a scarf or something with your t-shirt and jeans. Like wearing that accessory, that levels it up a little bit. And then people get used to that, and then you can add the blazer in, and that up levels it again. So it can just be adding one little thing at a time, taking little baby steps instead of doing the whole hog all at once and then feeling like you're dressing completely differently. But do remember, there are a lot of people out there, because I get so many emails with this same question or with this same concern. So I know you're not alone. I know that you are not unusual. There are a lot of women who are wishing they could dress up a bit more, but the people around them don't, which means somebody out there has to give them the permission. Why not that be you? I'm giving you the permission so that you can give other people the permission to dress in a way that makes you feel your most confident and your most stylish and attractive, rather than just kind of giving up and feeling like it is not worth it. Thank you all for your questions. Thank you for watching, and have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye for now.